In this video, we're going to derive a quadratic equation giving a variety of information, specifically just given 3 points. We're going to find the best, again, quadratic equation that goes through the 3 given points. Hi, for this video, you're going to need a graphing calculator. We're going to answer a question or go through a question similar to the one here on the right. It says, use a graphing calculator to determine the quadratic equation for each set of 3 points. We're just going to find a parabola. So how do we do that on a graphing calculator? Again, the reason we need a calculator is we don't know if any of these points are actually the vertex. And if you don't know the vertex, you can't use vertex form. We don't know if any of these points are x-intercepts. We actually know that they're not because they're not an x value comma 0. And we don't have any y-intercepts because there are no values 0 comma a y value. So these are just 3 points plotted, and we want to try and find a quadratic equation that makes a parabola through these 3 points. So what we do in our calculator is we hit the stat button. If you hit the stat button, you're going to push enter on edit. You push enter on edit, or you push the number 1. In here, I currently have some data from another class. If this is the first time you're using your graphing calculator, you probably would have no data. But I need to go up and I need to arrow so that the L1 is highlighted, and I'm just going to hit clear, and that will clear out my whole list. And list, this stands for, L1 stands for list 1, and in list 1 I'm going to enter in all of the x values of my 3 points. So the x values of my 3 points are -4, -2, and +2. Then I'm going to arrow over to list 2, and in list 2 I'm going to list their corresponding y values. So it was -4, 12, it was -2, -14, and it was +2, +6. This just tells your calculator which points are listed and which points we're trying to find the parabola through. After you've entered in your points, then you hit the stat button again. You arrow to the right so that calculate is highlighted, and because we're trying to find a quadratic equation, we are going to arrow down to number 5 because that one says quadratic, or it says quad, and REG stands for regression. We're going to create an regression equation. So you push enter on number 5. Now, depending on your version of the TI calculator, you may have this menu show up. If you have an 83, it would just say quad reg at the top of your screen. We're not going to change anything here because we put our data into list 1 and our y values into list 2. So we're just going to arrow down to the word calculate. If you had an 83, you would just push enter. And then what happens is you will see a quadratic equation that's listed in standard form at the top of your screen, and then it will tell you that A is 3, it will tell you that B is 5, and it will tell you that C is 16. So if you graph these 3 points, the parabola that goes through them will be y equals 3x squared plus 5x minus 16. And that's all you have to do to create a quadratic equation using your graphing calculator. You should watch this video again and practice a few times. You are expected for this class to have a graphing calculator, so you have time to go and either borrow one or check to find yours at home or in your locker. You will need it for next class, so please make sure that you have your graphing calculator for next class as well. Thank you.